I get it, you're staring at a bunch of specs and wondering if you're about to drop hard-earned cash on a desktop that will sit idle or, worse, slow you down. You don't want to end up with a box that looks impressive on paper but turns out to be a mismatch for the way you actually work. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the HP OmniDesk Envy Next actually brings to a real-world office or home office setup, so you can decide whether it's a safe bet for you or just another shiny option to skip. First off, the OmniDesk is marketed as a next-gen AI PC, and that label can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, the Intel Core Ultra 7265 processor with 20 cores and 20 threads does give you a lot of headroom for multitasking and the AI-enhanced features baked into Windows 11 Pro. On the other hand, there's no dedicated graphics card listed, which means the GPU is stuck with the integrated SE graphics. If your daily workflow leans heavily on GPU-accelerated tasks like 3D rendering, high-end gaming, or intensive video effects, that's a real limitation. For most business-oriented tasks, though, the integrated graphics are enough to drive a 4K monitor, run a few video calls, and handle the occasional light photo edit without hiccups. Who should consider this machine? If you're a small to medium business owner who runs multiple cloud-based applications, spreadsheets with thousands of rows, and a handful of AI-driven tools like Copilot or automated data analysis, the 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, paired with a 1 terabyte SSD, will feel spacious. Imagine you're preparing a quarterly report. You have the financial model open in Excel, a PowerPoint deck loading data visualizations, and a browser with several tabs of research all simultaneously. The memory buffer keeps those apps from swapping to disk, and the SSD's quick read/write speeds mean the file you just saved appears instantly in your backup folder. For remote workers who need a reliable, always-in workstation for video conferencing, the built-in Wi-Fi 6 ensures a stable connection, and the front panel USB-C lets you plug in a fast external drive or a docking station without hunting for cables behind the desk. The bundle also throws in a wired keyboard and mouse, which saves you a couple of dollars if you were going to buy those anyway, plus a 64 gigabytes ADATA flash drive that's handy for quick data transfers or as a bootable rescue stick. If you're the type who likes to keep a portable backup of important documents on a thumb drive, that's a small but thoughtful addition. The inclusion of Windows 11 Pro means you get native support for BitLocker encryption, group policy management, and the AI-assisted productivity tools that Microsoft is pushing this year, useful for IT admins who need to enforce security policies without a lot of extra software. Now, who should walk away? If you're primarily a gamer or a creative professional whose workflow is anchored in GPU-heavy software like Adobe Premiere with GPU acceleration, Blender, or the latest Unity builds, this desktop will likely leave you frustrated. The integrated graphics can handle basic video playback and light editing, but you'll feel the pinch when you try to render a 4K timeline or run a real-time physics simulation. Also, the rating of 3.4 out of 5 on Amazon suggests that while some users are happy, a notable chunk found issues, perhaps the lack of upgrade paths or expectations versus reality. The chassis is designed for a clean, compact look, but that also means you can't easily swap in a larger graphics card later without opening the case, and the product note mentions the original seal has been opened for a professional upgrade. That could hint at a more complex service process if something goes wrong. Let's talk about the hidden trade-offs you won't see on the spec sheet. The machine's power supply is built for the current configuration, so you won't have much wiggle room to add extra drives or a high-end GPU without risking an overload. That's a practical consideration if you ever think you'll need more storage for large video archives or a secondary SSD for scratch space. The Wi-Fi 6 module is great, but the Ethernet port is only a standard gigabit, not 2.5 GB, which means that on ultra-fast office networks you won't be hitting the absolute top speeds. It's not a deal breaker for most, but worth noting if you're in a data center-grade environment. From a cost versus value perspective, the OmniDesk lands in a sweet spot for businesses that need a solid, future-ready CPU and plenty of memory, but don't want to pay premium prices for a workstation that includes a high-end GPU they'll never use. The AI integration in Windows 11 Pro can shave a few seconds off repetitive tasks, think auto-summarizing emails or generating draft documents, so you might see productivity gains that are hard to quantify but noticeable over time. On the flip side,